back everybody. Alpha Trading Card Games, sneak peek tournament today. Stefanos Fostieris, second place. Hello Stefanos.
Hi.
Congratulations for the second place.
Thank you.
What was your matchups?
I played like Necros, Burning Abyss, PK Hero, Paleozoics and Cyber Dragons. Thank God we didn't pull enough Thunder Dragons for anyone to build a deck for the sneak peek tournament, so I could enjoy my deck without any problems.
So what was your score?
I ended up 4-1.
4-1? Okay, nice. Let's see your deck.
So I played Sky Striker Trickstar. I think it still is the most consistent deck of the format. I believe that I was testing the pure Trickstar build, and for some reason after the ban list when Terraforming got semi-limited, I was just not opening Trickstars. Like in my opening hands, and I could not play. So I felt like I had to include the Sky Strikers. So we have 3 Candinas, 2 Lycoris. For when I was playing the deck, like in the old times, I felt like 3 Lycoris was necessary. But with Trickstar Sky Striker, you do have enough tools to push per game, even without the Trickstars. Like you can play pure Sky Strikers in one game and pure Trickstars during another game. So this card ended up becoming the brick of the deck, because opening her on her own doesn't do enough. So you don't want to open her without Candina, without Terraforming a light stage. And 1 Lily build, because she's a game stealer. I made like 1 Ray. I feel like with 1 drones, she's necessary because when you go through your Sky Striker engine during the first turn with drones, you can pretty much make sure that you have a play like during the next turn. Because if you open with Ray, then you don't need to normal summon Candina to make a play, because the Sky Striker plays are more optimal than the Trickstar plays going first blind. So that's why you need to play Ray. And you can also recycle her with when your Sky Striker links get destroyed. 2 Sky Blaster. I think this card is very powerful to not play in this deck, mainly because there are so many ways to get a monster in your field without using your normal summon. Like, aside of light stages, you can summon Lilybell, the Sky Strikers, you can play with drones. Going second, you can, if you have like a Terraforming in the graveyard, you can make that too. And there's another card I run as well. And for the hand drops, played 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 2 Ogre. I felt like you had to play Ogre, because if you get outgrinded by Sky Strikers with multi-roll, you're pretty much not going to win the game. So it's very important to hit that, and these 6 are mandatory. This card is very powerful against Pure, because if they Terraforming for a field spell, or if they Upstar or Metal Force Fusion, then they won't be able to play. And in the mirror match, it's not that optimal if you're playing Pure as well, because you're not going to OTK them, but if you're playing Trickstars, then you have a lot of pressure. And Ash is just very generic against any matchup. But I feel like I'm not including right now Impermanence, but I feel like I will have to eventually because of Thunder Dragons, because I'm playing a Search deck. I won't be able to play if I can't get rid of the Super Bolt. For spells, 3 light states with 2 Terraformings. Like in theory, semi-limiting Terraforming was pointless. That's what people say, that Trickstars didn't get hit. I completely disagree. If you play the deck, you will realize that you draw Trickstars way less than the last format. So if you're trying the pure deck, you have to main deck like so many Mech Knights to be able to play, even if you don't open any Trickstars. That's why I don't like the pure Trickstar right now. For Sky Strikers, play 3 Engage, obviously. This card is not staying up here for long. 1 drones, 1 Encore, 1 burners. These 3 are pretty much what you need. Jamming Waves is very bad against Goki and Thunder Dragons. It's pretty much dead unless you hit one of your own cards to destroy a monster, and even against Thunder Dragons you can destroy them, so what's the point? I think these 3 will stay here even if this gets semi-limited, mainly because you can recycle 1 Engage each turn. So sometimes I go through all 4 of my Sky Striker targets with using just 1 Engage. So even if we have to cut out some engages because of the ban list, these 4 targets, these 3 in Ray, will pretty much stay the same. To Scapegoat, again, I didn't draw this once today. Like, the semi-limiting does hurt. People say that Trickstars didn't get hit. I think the Trickstar Sky Striker deck was the most hit deck of the ban list. Like, even more than Goki, especially now we're getting Summon Sorcerers eventually. I made like 3 Mind Controls. I have this mainly for Thunder Dragons because I feel like it's the best way to play around the Titan and Colossus. Against pure Sky Striker is very powerful because they won't be able to recycle Ray. Now that Goblin is banned, it's good against Extra Links as well. I think that main decking 3 of this is necessary for any deck right now if you want to be able to play it against any deck. Like, this is an easy bait for Tri-Gate, so you can make your plays afterwards, and if you have 2, you can make some really big boards without even summoning a monster. 1 upstart. 40 cards with a filler upstart is very powerful with Engage, because like in so many games this was my 3rd spell in the grave too for Engage. For traps, 2 Reincarnation. This is the same logic with Lycoris. This card is the brick of the deck along with Lycoris if you open it just on its own, because the banishing effect is not that potent against some decks, and if you can't reborn anything from the grave, then it's not the best disruption, so you don't want to draw this by itself. Just with Lycoris, you want to search it. And I played some Solemns, going first against Sky Strikers, this end their turn. Against Goki, if you hit the Firewall, then it's over. And against Thunder Dragons, if you make them waste the summer vacation, then they will have to end with just 1 Super Bowl, which is way easier to play around than having like 2 Super Bowls and a Titan on the field. So yeah, but these I will most likely play like 2 or 3 impermanents eventually. Maybe if Thunder Dragon doesn't become that popular, maybe I won't need to, we'll see.
How many cards?
40. Always 40.
Nice.
For the extra deck, Holy Angel, people have cut this card from the Trickstar Sky Striker deck. I still think she's very powerful to not play. I've won so many games with her, like late game, when you have a bunch of Reincarnations in the graveyard and you have just 1 Candina and summon Lilybell from the deck, then you bring back Lycoris with Lilybell and you can do so much damage just with this card. For Sky Strikers, play Tagari, 1 Suzuku, 1 Hayate. I think these are enough. Like, Hayate is very good. This is the reason the deck will still be playable even if Engage is limited, because you can send it even if you draw Ray or drones, so it's basically still running 3. And it's very good in the battle phase when you go second, because if this card battled, it doesn't have to stay on the field to mill. So you can crash her, bring back Ray, send 1, summon Kagari, add back the Engage, attack with Kagari, activate the Engage, then during the end phase you get Shizuku and you get another plus. So you have like 2 free attacks and a free disruption just from 1 card. Link Kuribo, Link Spider for Scapegoats, Insulator. I have to run this in this deck because I run Fan of Sky Blaster, and it's better on Reprodocus because this Reprodocus has no purpose in the deck, like, its effect is pretty much irrelevant. But this one, when you use it early game and late game, you push for game and you summon a Trickstar or a Bomber, you can bring this back to trigger their effects without having to special summon another monster in their front. For the Nightmares, play Cerberus, Phoenix, Unicorn, Standard. Trickstar, very powerful against Alter Guys, Pure, Pure Sky Striker, and Valet. Bomber. Warsword, like, I think this card is a must in any deck right now. It's way better than Warlord is, because Warlord is very situational when you have to outboards, but this card will pretty much win you 40% of your games. I'm not running Skuldred because I feel like it was only good if you had drones in your hand with Sky Blaster first turn to try to dig for some traps or hand traps. And I'm not running Firewall because the Lilybell OTK is so situational that it's not even worth using up a slot in your Extra deck for something like that. Like, the games you can win with Firewall, most likely you'll be able to win anyway because you have activated Scapegoat. Because you don't have the play with Goblin anymore, so you can't do it if they have a Kagari pointing like to your own field. And for the side, Reborder against Alter Guys, this card is instant win. There's no way they're playing around unless they have Torrential Tribute or Impermanence. And if you can back it up with some trap cards, then it will be even more unbreakable. And I think it's very good against Thunder Dragons. If they don't open Instant Fusion, there's no way they can play around this because they can't use any effect. If they have an Instant Fusion, yes, they will be able to out it, but it's 3 cards I need. 3 Comongoose. I feel like this should be Sphere Mode sometimes, but against Thunder Dragons, they don't always have 3 monsters. They can end with 1 Super Bolt, 2 Super Bolts, or 2 Super Bolts and a Titan. So I feel like this card will be live most of the times than Sphere Mode will, and it doesn't use up your normal summon, which is very important with Candina and Ray and Sky Blaster. But against Goki, I feel like Thunder Dragons and Goki are the most difficult matchups, especially going second. So that's why sometimes I feel like this would be Sphere Mode, but I don't really know. 3 Evenly. Obviously this card like kills True Draco, Alter Guys. If you can bait the Tri-Gate, then we'll destroy the Goki matchup too. Reboot. I feel like Alter Guys is becoming like less and less potent every format, so I might cut this. But for now, it's not that bad. It's good against Pure Trickstar cutting Reincarnation. And 3 Duster. This card's unfair going first against Pure Sky Striker. because you will be able to hit their multi-roll and they won't be able to set up their entire board, and then you can push it for game during your next turn.
Thank you very much, Stefanos. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Any last words before we close?
Well, I feel like we're getting into a whole new format. Thunder Dragons will be very representative. It will be a triangle format. Well, like True Draco and Altergeist can beat Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons can beat Sky Strikers, and Sky Strikers can beat Altergeist. Hidden Summoners will be out soon. Prime Kids will be very viable because in the OCG they have 3 Maxi, we don't, so a spam deck will be always be good now. Maybe we'll get Cherubini, Burning Abyss will make a comeback. We'll have so many decks eventually. So I feel like this format is going to evolve into a very, very good format. And I really like it already.
Thank you very much, Stefanos. Congratulations again. See you next week.
Thank you.